Sister Wives Janelle Brown talks romance and marriage after Kody. Sister Wives stars Cristin Brown-Woolley and Janelle Brown took time to speak on the podcast Sibling Revelry with Kate Hudson and Oliver Hudson. Both ladies shared some of their life changes and updates. For instance, Janelle talks about romance and marriage after she left her former husband, Kody Brown. Life after plural marriage. During a recent podcast, Cristin Brown-Woolley and Janelle Brown discussed their lives after leaving Kody Brown. During the February 16, 2025 episode of Sibling Revelry, the Sister Wives stars talked about how Janelle is living with Maddie Brown Brush and Caleb Brush in Greenville, North Carolina. Additionally, Cristin is with David Woolley in Lehi, Utah. Janelle Brown talks romance and marriage after Kody. When Sister Wives star Janelle Brown discussed romance and marriage after leaving Kody Brown, she essentially isn't considering either. Oliver Hudson asked about the process of their divorces and then what life is like now that it is over. Janelle confessed, "My marriage is over. I don't know what I'm going to do. Furthermore, I'm not really interested in getting married again or even really dating at this stage." Additionally, Janelle shared she doesn't give it much attention right now with all her other ventures happening. Admittedly, she says, "So I'm not even thinking about, oh, what do I need to do? Because I'm just I am over it." However, her main sentiment was relief. She said, "I am done." Then, she adds, "I love my single life." Currently, it isn't a priority, and she said she isn't even dating even though Cristin and David Woolley try to get her to use the apps. Although right now, that is where she stands, she isn't completely slamming the door closed. She nonchalantly adds, "If something presents itself in the future, then I'll consider what I need to do." But for now, she isn't giving it the time of day. She has many other things to devote her time and energy to at the moment. Cristin and Janelle Brown is happy with their decisions to leave. Although both Cristin Brown-Woolley and Janelle Brown didn't pursue spiritual releases like Mary Brown did, they are content with their situations. Cristin simply declared she was divorced since there was no paperwork to shuffle. But Janelle explains she isn't divorced per se since they were never legally married. For Janelle, she adds, "I just say I'm no longer with him. When I explain it to outside people, I'm no longer with my partner." While being in the plural marriage was difficult, Janelle is so grateful she went through it because she had a wonderful family experience. Even with the problems that were hard to face, Janelle and Cristin admit it was all worth it to be where they are now. Oliver Hudson echoes the same idea, noting that his experiences developed him as the individual he is now. Likewise, Janelle says going through difficulties helped her become a richer person with more depth. Additionally, Cristin recognizes the great memories and celebrates those. Plural parenting. Additionally, Sister Wives stars Cristin Brown-Woolley and Janelle Brown discussed their plural parenting too. They understood that the kids learned who to ask to get yes from the right parent. Since they had choices, they would, for instance, ask Cristin about Black Friday shopping because she would load up and go. But if Janelle was asked, she would have shut it down. Most of the differences had to do with individual household rules. But they wanted people to broaden their horizons by seeing life in plural marriage on Sister Wives. They both see themselves as feminists and know they are strong and independent. Plural marriage was the answer for Janelle to have a career, family, and freedom to rule her own household. She had space and connection for many years with Kody Brown. But Cristin at times felt like a second-class wife to Kody since she wasn't like Robin Brown. Janelle's anthem is to be a strong woman living her life. Janelle Brown sat back in her chair, sipping a cup of herbal tea as the late afternoon sun poured through the windows of her Flagstaff home. It had been over a year since she had finally made the decision to walk away from her marriage to Kody Brown, and while the transition had been daunting, she felt lighter now, freer. For the first time in decades, she wasn't tied to the emotional chaos of plural marriage, and she was finally discovering who she was beyond being one of Kody's wives. She hadn't expected to talk about romance so soon after the split, but here she was, sitting across from a close friend who had just asked the question. "Janelle, do you ever think about getting married again?" Janelle exhaled, setting her cup down. I used to think I was done with marriage entirely. I mean, let's be honest, my experience with it wasn't exactly a fairy tale. But lately, I don't know, I've been thinking differently." Her friend, a longtime confidant from her early days in polygamy, raised an eyebrow. "Differently how?" Janelle chuckled. "Well, first of all, I know I'll never go back to plural marriage. That chapter is closed. I gave everything I had to that lifestyle, and in the end, I realized it wasn't sustainable for me. I want something different now. Something simple, peaceful, and equal. And that was the truth. Janelle had spent decades in a relationship where she often felt like an afterthought, constantly vying for time, attention, and emotional validation. Watching Cristin leave had opened her eyes, and then seeing the way Kody's priorities had shifted, favoring Robin while neglecting the rest, had been the final push she needed. "So, monogamy?" her friend asked, teasingly. "Who would have thought?" Janelle grinned. "Right? It's funny how life changes. If you had told me 10 years ago that I'd be dreaming about a one-on-one partnership, I would have laughed. But now I see the appeal. Just one person, fully invested in me and vice versa. No competing for love." The idea was still fresh, still foreign in some ways, but it had been growing in her mind. She had started noticing things she hadn't before: couples holding hands at the grocery store, an older couple laughing over breakfast at a diner. The simplicity of it all called to her. "Have you met anyone?" her friend pressed. Janelle hesitated. She had met people. Friendly conversations at the gym, small moments of flirtation when she least expected it. There was one man in particular, a local business owner who always seemed to find a reason to strike up a conversation when she stopped by his shop. His name was Mark, and he was kind, intelligent, and, most importantly, uncomplicated. "Maybe," Janelle admitted with a shy smile. "There's this guy I talk to sometimes. It's nothing serious, just nice." Her friend gasped. "Janelle, you have a crush." Janelle laughed. "I wouldn't go that far. But I will say it's refreshing to have someone look at me like I matter. Like I'm not just part of a bigger puzzle but the whole picture." That was the biggest difference. With Kody, love had always been divided, fragmented. There were moments of connection, but they were always fleeting, overshadowed by the complexity of the plural family dynamic. Now, she was realizing that love, true love, shouldn't feel like a negotiation. "Do your kids know?" her friend asked, clearly enjoying this new revelation. Janelle nodded. "They do, and they're all for it. Maddie has been telling me for months that I deserve happiness and that I should at least be open to the idea of dating. Even Garrison told me he'd rather see me with someone who truly appreciates me than stuck in the past." Her children had been her rock through the transition, supporting her in ways she hadn't expected. They had seen her struggle, watched her put herself last for years, and now they wanted her to step into a new chapter where she put herself first. "That's amazing," her friend said warmly. "So, what now? Are you going to take a leap and see where this goes?" Janelle exhaled, thinking about the future. The idea of dating in her 50s was intimidating, but it was also exhilarating. She had spent so much of her life defining herself in relation to Kody, his wife, his supporter, his afterthought. Now, she was finally just Janelle. "I think I will," she said, smiling. "For the first time in a long time, I'm excited about what's next." And with that, Janelle Brown, a woman who had spent decades navigating the complexities of plural marriage, decided that she was ready to embrace something new. Something simple, something equal, something that for once put her happiness first.